Oh, damn fine coffee. Cruise and flow. Being on the road a fair bit for work, it was you see a lot of people behaving in a very similar manner on the road. And this is something I noticed before, doing like working as a driving around, but it was a bigger reminder because I saw it every day, and it's just in your face. And I sort of just like, fuck, there's just shit drivers everywhere. And then, since having stopped driving, and I drove up to Adelaide to see a mate who moved up there, and we drove up, and then and back, and on the way back, I was just reminded again how people behave on the roads. It's very bizarre. One thing is, it seems no one uses cruise control, even though they've got modern cars. I don't think cruise control is that new a technology either. I'm sure it's been around from the 80s onwards. And majority of the cars that I'm driving next to on the roads were less than 20 years old. So you do the math. So many people, when they're on the road, go under the speed limit when they're driving. They'll sit 10, 20 k's under the speed limit, and they're just oblivious. Even though they can have cruise control. They can make their life easier, just slip it into cruise control. And the car's set, and all they have to do at that point is just monitor the cars around them. But they don't. And then what happens is, people overtake them. And people are frustrated, because they're like, why the fuck are you going so slow? You're actually just making it dangerous for other people. And then you get some people who are real far on the other side, and they really crack the shits, and they're like, fuck this, and they're driving like lunatics. And then those people who are driving really slow, I notice that once you overtake them, they're like, oh fuck, like I'm going really slow. And then they speed up and overtake you. And when they overtake you, they fly past, and then they'll just make sure they're well ahead of you, and then they'll pull into the lane. And then what do? They put it on cruise control. They just slip back into whatever mindset they're in, and their speed drops off, and then you have to overtake them again. But you're stuck on you're in cruise control, so you're just watching the road. And you overtake them. And then you don't even speed past them, you're just doing the speed, but you fly past them because they're doing 10 to 15 k's under the speed limit. And then they come to again, like, oh fuck, like someone overtook me, I'm going slow. And then they speed up, and then they fly past. And that is how they live life. It's not just how they drive on the road. They live life in that way. They don't set themselves up to allow themselves to get into a flow state where their body just automatically does what it needs to do, and their mind is free. Instead, they weigh themselves down. And too much automation is a problem, obviously. You don't want to become a vegetable, but there are tools there to be used to make your life easier, to give you more freedom and flexibility, to let your mind be free. And this covers all aspects of life. It's not just on the road. If you're being chaotic in your like, if you've just got chaos surrounding you, there's nothing good externally coming in. You don't have the ability to bring in anything good. It's just, if it's all just spinning around and spiraling out of control, you have the bad coming in, and then you have the good coming in, and they're all just getting swirled around. You can't take in and decipher what needs to be recognized and attention given to. It's just all chaotic. And then these situations, because they're chaotic, leads into more frustrations, like internally with internally with that person, or with the situation they're in, and they're not going to achieve what they want to achieve because they don't allow themselves the space and the opportunity to receive the good and process it. And they don't allow themselves the opportunity to receive the bad and process it either. They just see it coming in, and it's overwhelming because they don't set themselves up. They don't give themselves moments where, all right, well, this can be automated, and like this isn't really something that's going to take away from my quality of life, but like if I automate it, it doesn't take away from me. It gives me more freedom and flexibility. And I don't mean just like being automated and having something going on so you can just, doom scroll in the background. It's more so you can allow yourselves to get into these higher states of consciousness and just perceive information that's coming into you, where I think so many people just don't have the ability to take on what is in front of them because they're so absorbed in their internal chaos. And this can be related to photography. It can be related to every single discipline. I opened it and wanted to make a statement that it's across everything. But when it comes to photography, if there's a lot of internal chaos going in your mind and you're out on the street, there's no way you can absorb, or it doesn't have to be the street, sorry, I just use the street because I shoot a lot of street. But if there's a lot of internal chaos going on, you don't have the ability to read what's happening in front of you at its full potential. You can't sync up with the energy that's around you and ride that wave because you're too focused on what's happening inside. So you're going to miss opportunities, you're going to miss photos, you're going to miss moments because there's a battle going on that hasn't been addressed, and everything else that's coming in that could be good and could be bad is just getting deflected or getting thrown into the chaos, and it's not giving results. It's not giving it's not getting you into that flow that you need to be able to receive real information to then go out and do what you want to do. You're just going to be stagnant and, I guess, stifled by it all. So try and cruise, decant, do those little, set up those little automations where you don't have to use up your brain power and your time and your energy. Set those up so they can just go on in the background, and then you check in on them every now and then. You schedule them in, but they don't need to occupy your space all the time. And then that will give you space for when you have something big come on, and it might not be the best situation. You have the ability to process it. And then for those times where something good is coming into your life or into your space, or just your area of energy, you have the ability to absorb it and make something of it, not just get lost in the chaos. So slow down, put what you can into cruise control, and go with the flow. Thanks for today, fellas.